We have reached a new subscriber milestone video, and I want to take this opportunity to thank every single one of you. Usually when I record this video, I'm not at the number of the subscribers yet to record the video, but this time, because the 6K puzzle took so much longer than expected, we are actually already over. So we are at about 7,200 right now. So I really want to thank every single one of you. You have no idea how much this means to me, and you guys are the reason why I keep going, because I know there is someone on the other side happy to be watching the videos, and it makes my heart warm. So thank you so much again for being here, supporting me, and just following my journey. So for anyone who doesn't know what's going on in this video, you should watch this first. Look at that. Works together fine. But there is something that I wanted to say, because we do have 7 puzzles and the next subscriber milestone is going to be 7,000. And I know this doesn't combine 7,000 pieces, but since I decided I'm not going to be mixing the bags anyway, I thought I might as well mix the puzzles. So this is the challenge for the 7,000 subscribers. Okay, I've done it now. There is no going back. That's it. We've got 7 500-piece puzzles to tackle as my next subscriber milestone video. So that's it. So for anyone who doesn't know, I decided to take a break from giant puzzles for now, because having 5 and 6K puzzles done back to back, it was just a bit too much for me. It was a bit too time consuming, and I'm not gonna say I stopped enjoying it, but it just caused a lot of stress in my daily life. So I decided for 7K, I'm gonna do a different challenge, and that's gonna be mixing 7 500-piece puzzles together. Now this is the end result of mixing all the puzzles together. I have no idea why I've done it. I already kind of regret it, because this just looks like a complete and utter mess. But then on the other hand, I've already done a 5 and a 6K puzzle, so 3,500 shouldn't be too bad, especially if I make the sorting well. So the first step in solving this puzzle, and this is gonna be the only step that I'm gonna be doing this week, because I don't want to put too much pressure on me and on sorting itself, because this is probably gonna take me, it's usually 15 minutes per 500 pieces, so we've got 7 puzzles in here. So that's gonna be what? It should be less than 2 hours, but I like to do the sorting on my sofa. So I think this is all you're gonna see from me here at the moment, and then I'm gonna move on to the sofa, put some shows on, and just sort the puzzles. So the puzzles that I picked were basically the ones that I was doing in preparation for the Worlds. So I think it should be quite easily sortable. Well, besides these two. They're quite similar to each other, but even then I think it's going to be quite easy to divide which sky is which, because they have different colors. So if I do the sorting well of the 7 puzzles, then the next step should be fairly easy, because it took me about 50 minutes per puzzle to complete. And 7 puzzles shouldn't be too long, as long as I do the sorting well. I'm sure there will be like a random piece pile that I don't know exactly where it goes from the get-go. So I think I'm just gonna keep them in the miscellaneous pile, and then at the end I'm gonna get back to them when more of the puzzles are solved. But I'm actually not sure how to solve the puzzles yet. So the idea was to eliminate all the frames and then assemble all frames together, well, separately but at the same time, and then just focus on one puzzle at a time. But the more I think about it, it's like, it's probably gonna be best to just focus on one puzzle at one given time, but then, it's not that challenging. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I have to decide. I'm gonna see how easy the sorting is gonna be, and then I'm gonna decide how much more I want to complicate my life. So let's go do the sorting now. I thought the idea for sorting was quite straightforward. Eliminate the frame and then delegate the pieces into the right boxes for the puzzle. So I didn't do any micro sorting for specific puzzles. I basically just put anything that I thought belongs to the puzzle into that box. And I have to say that in the beginning it was a little difficult to know where something goes, especially because 3 of the puzzles have a sky variations, and then a lot of them have flowers. But the more I did it, the easier it became to see the differences, especially with the Glorious Garden Center center because it's a specific illustration as opposed to other puzzles. And then the Star Wars was also very specific and easy to eliminate from everything else. Maritime Moments and Antics and Curiosities also had a bit of specifics, but then the other three, I just didn't know what to put into what. Okay, yeah, some stuff was specific for each puzzle, but when it came to the sky, I was completely lost, so I have no idea what I actually sorted. I do have to admit that knowing the puzzles, because I've done them previously twice each at least, and if I didn't do that before doing this challenge, I think it would made it so much more difficult because I kind of knew the puzzles, I knew the pictures. So as soon as I saw a piece, I'm like, oh yeah, you go to Antics and Curiosity, and oh, you go to Star Wars. I'm not saying it would be impossible to sort without knowing the puzzles prior, but I think it did help a hell of a lot knowing the images of the puzzles before actually going into sorting. So the sorting is done, and here are all the frame pieces. So what I decided I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do the one frame for the one puzzle that I'm gonna be doing, because if I do all 7 frames, I'm not gonna have any space to puzzle on the table. So I just decided to do them one by one. And I kind of already have the order in which I'm gonna do all the puzzles, and I have a reason why I picked that order. So what I've done is I weighed all the pieces, okay, from each box, and I got obviously the average, and each box is supposed to have 186 grams, yeah, of pieces, and yeah, that only happened in one box, and that was the Lighthouse at Sunset. It's the only one that has 186. Then I've got 2 others that are quite, well, 3 others that are quite close. They're all in like 180 something range. And then I've got the one that is 160, and then the bottom is 212. So at first I wanted to start with the one that's got the most pieces, because I was like, okay, it's got the most chance that it actually has all the pieces, and then it still has a lot of leftover. But then Blush had a point, and he was like, just start with the one that's got the least, and then you're gonna have to fill the puzzles in after, and it's probably gonna be easier then to figure out what goes where. So I flipped them around, and I'm gonna start with the one that's got the least pieces. And also I didn't really want to start with Antics and Curiosity because it's, I'm not gonna say the most difficult one, but yeah, I didn't want to start with that one. And yeah, so this is the order. And I'm just gonna do each puzzle the way it's supposed to do, and all the pieces that are gonna be either leftover or missing, I'm just gonna leave it as is until the very end after I do all the puzzles. And then we're gonna see how badly I did the sorting. So yeah, I think it's time to just get into the puzzling before the sun completely ruins this deck. Okay, I had to pause for a moment because this is way more frame pieces than I expected. I think someone actually said there is 88 frame pieces in every 500 piece puzzle. So having 7 of them mixed together is a lot, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to do one frame at a time. So at least I'm gonna try to do some sort of like sorting into 7 different piles and see if that works, because this looks like a nightmare at the moment, honestly, and I don't even have any space to work from. The decision to sort the frame pieces was definitely a good one, because it's gonna help me with all the puzzles, not just with this one. And even though when I finished the frame I had a piece missing, I was thinking to go and try to look for it in other pieces, but then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna waste my time, because there is a slight chance that the piece wasn't even sorted, you know, because it happens sometimes that we miss a frame piece. So I decided to just keep going with the puzzle, and in the beginning it was going quite alright because it seemed like all the pieces are there, everything that I needed. I had quite a clear plan on what I'm gonna do next and everything, and then I came to a point when I realized that I'm missing so many pieces, and that really complicated things because I was not able to connect pieces to other pieces. And if you know me, you know that I don't work well unless I have all the pieces from one section with me, because I have to connect them to each other. I'm not really good at pick and place, so this puzzle became quite a bit more complicated than I expected, especially when I came to the sky. That basically became a mission impossible. So here we are, and I'm starting to regret my decisions that I've made. So the reason why I wanted to begin with the one that had the most pieces is so I have pieces left over and then I can use them for other puzzles. But I started with the one that had the least. And actually, I didn't think that I'm gonna have so many pieces from other puzzles as well. So I barely had any of the puzzle done, and I just gave up on the sky because it was just... It became too much. Like, I couldn't connect anything to anything, and because the sky is staggered as well, like it's got different colors, it already makes it more difficult to do it that way as opposed to a clay gradient. And now I even have pieces missing, which made it even, you know, extra more difficult. So, oh my god, I have no idea what to do with that because these take me way longer. Like, I calculated, okay, it's gonna take me roughly 1 hour per puzzle, so there's gonna be 7 hours. This took me, I think, 1.5 hours, if not even more. I didn't time myself or anything, but I just remember how many times I had to press record again because after 15 minutes I have to keep redoing it. So what I think I'm gonna do now, you know how I said I'm just gonna leave all the puzzles separate until the very end and then I'm gonna put the pieces in. I don't think that's gonna be the case because now that I've seen how many pieces I have from other puzzles, it's gonna make it so much more difficult to assemble them, and I don't wanna struggle again as I did right now. So as soon as I open the next puzzle, I think the next one is gonna be quite simple though because it's Maritime Moment, so I don't think there's gonna be a lot of missing puzzle pieces or like extra puzzle pieces in there. But when I move on to the other puzzles, I think I'm just gonna start mix and matching them because otherwise, oh my goodness, like, I don't know what else to do. I mean, I'm quite deflated now because this was way more difficult than I expected. And it just goes to show when you do giant puzzles that how much sorting actually does, because the fact that I don't have all the pieces just complicates things so much more. So yeah, I'm gonna move on to other puzzles now, see how it goes, because the next 3, I think they're gonna be quite simple. They have no sky, so I think they should be quite easy to do. So I might change my mind by the time I get back to the puzzles with the sky, but for now I decided I'm just gonna use whatever I can to help myself because I still want to make it an enjoyable experience, you know, even though it's a challenge, you know, it still has to be enjoyable because otherwise what's the point? I always say if puzzling stops being enjoying, then what's the point of doing it? So I got close to it, but I wasn't quite there yet. That's why I said I might need to change the technique, but I still have time to think about it. As I mentioned, I've got 3 other puzzles now and then I come back to the sky ones. So let's see what happens. Straight from the get-go, this puzzle was already easier than the first one because I had a lot more pieces that were actually from that puzzle. And the reason for that is because the sorting for this puzzle was really easy for me to do because the background was basically all blue, which was not the case with any other puzzles. And also the items on the image were quite specific because everything was connected to the sea and stuff like that. So it made the sorting a lot easier. And because the sorting was done well, the assembly went well as well. Oh my god, honestly, this one was so much better than the last one. Like, okay, now I might change my mind again. I might just keep all the extra pieces for the end and then just put them in together with all the puzzles. But I still have quite a few pieces left that are missing, and I had some extra ones as well. And it's so funny because as soon as I started flipping the pieces over, I already knew that some of the pieces don't belong. But when you have, you know, so many pieces in front of you when you're doing the sorting, you're not that concentrated on the puzzle itself, so it's a lot more difficult to know where something goes. And you don't want to spend too much time thinking on where something goes because you don't want the sorting to be too long. But then when you look at it now, it would be better to just maybe do a more detailed sort. Well, not a more detailed sort as such, but like for the pieces that I wasn't 100% sure where they go, I should have made a separate pile and then go through them and literally find them on the picture and put them where they're supposed to go. Because really, maybe I saved myself 1 hour sorting, but I think I already wasted that 1 hour just on the 2 puzzles. So you see, on the long run, it would be a lot better to do a better sort. But it is what it is now, so there's nothing really I can do about it. So I'm still gonna try to do 2 more puzzles and then see what happens with the ones that they have the sky in, because if they're gonna be missing so many pieces, I will refer to the other pieces that I've got left. Well, I put them all here in the box, so I'm gonna put all the leftover pieces from every puzzle into the separate box, and I'll see what I'll do later. I still haven't decided what I want to do, but this one was a lot better. So I'm really hoping that the other 2 are gonna be on the easy side as well, because then I've got the rest. Not so much fun. And the weather today, I don't understand it. It's so sunny outside, but I think because the time change and everything, it's so gloomy. It looks really gloomy. It's difficult to puzzle because I don't have a great light, even though it's sunny outside, so I don't understand what's the case. Maybe there are some clouds hiding somewhere, but I don't see it. It's probably just the winter time coming, and yeah, it's just gonna become more and more miserable to do puzzling during the day, unfortunately. Or I could just invest in more lights, I guess. I don't know. I was really looking forward to putting this puzzle together because I knew that the sorting was done well. And the first thing that was already looking good is the fact that I had the whole frame, which is also what happened with the previous puzzle, but because I didn't start with the frame with Maritime Flair, I didn't actually know how well it was sorted. But with this one, immediately finished the frame. I had few pieces left over, and that already felt so good. And when I started to put the puzzle together, I quickly realized that I'm missing some of the sky pieces, which is completely normal because there was a lot of sky pieces in other puzzles, so of course I mixed them up. But I think overall this puzzle still turned out the best out of the 3 I've done so far. So I think this puzzle went really well. I think it was the most enjoyable one so far out of the ones that I've already done. And it's already keeping my hopes up that I'm gonna be able to stick with what I originally designed and just do every box separately, and then all the leftover pieces I would just do at the very end. So yeah, I think I'm happy with the way it's going. I'm hoping to do 2 more puzzles today before the sun goes down. And if that happens, it means that I'm gonna have more time tomorrow, so I can just take it easy and do it the way that I planned it. And I found the fish from the second puzzle. This puzzle, in a way, I was looking forward to it, but then at the same time not looking forward to it. So the reason why I was looking forward to it is because the sorting was really easy for this puzzle as well, because it had a really specific illustration and it was so easy to know what goes into it. So I was quite confident that I'm gonna have most of the pieces. The reason why I said most is because based on the weight, this puzzle had less than enough pieces. But also I was expecting that there's gonna be some extra pieces as well, which has been the case so far. So I was hoping that it's gonna be quite easy in that sense because the majority of the pieces would be there. But at the same time, this is the most difficult puzzle out of the lot. So in that sense, I wasn't looking forward to it. But in this video, it seems like the bigger challenge is actually having all the pieces. And even if the image is more difficult, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be the most difficult assembly of this video. This video is turning out to be a lot different than what I expected, because so far I have done the most difficult puzzle out of the lot today, and I didn't actually find it the most difficult because I had a lot of the pieces. So it just goes to show how important the sorting is, how important it is to have all the pieces with you. And it's just interesting to see how much more difficult it is to puzzle when you don't have everything that you need or even have extra pieces. So far, I think it's quite funny because sort of like as soon as I start puzzling, I immediately know which pieces do not belong into the puzzle. And when I'm separating them, I'm like, oh, I already know where you go. So I've got quite a few of the pieces that actually belong to the Star Wars puzzle. And I can already see some of the pieces that I will be needing in the other puzzles. But I won't have them. So I think it's gonna be really fun to see how much I actually mix the pieces up, and then at the end when I have all 7 puzzles to just fill the pieces in. So I'm quickly losing daylight, so I'm gonna just jump on the next puzzle as soon as possible. And this is the only puzzle that actually had the right amount of weight. So supposedly it's supposed to have all the pieces, which I already know is not the case because a lot of these pieces were actually in the first puzzle because I mixed the sky up, but that's okay. I'm still interested to see how difficult it's going to be to assemble it because the sky sections are quite difficult without having all the pieces, but yeah, only one way to find out. I kind of knew that going into this puzzle again is going to be more difficult than the last 3 puzzles because of the sky, but I was quite surprised with how many sky pieces I had. But as soon as I started getting into it, obviously I've done the frame and that was the whole frame, which was really good. But when I started doing the sky pieces, I realized that I had so many pieces from the Paris puzzle, and it's just something about the texture, and it was so easy to recognize what belongs and what doesn't. So I was already getting a little bit worried because I knew that I'm not going to be able to finish the sky. But that's okay, I don't think it's gonna be as bad as it was with the first puzzle, and I kind of got used to it by now to work without all the pieces. So I still think it ended up better than the Paris puzzle because I did have a lot more pieces, but I'm still missing quite a few. Okay, I'm completely out of daylight, so I decided I'm gonna stop for today because it's pointless, because it just makes it so much more difficult with reflection and everything. But I'm quite proud of myself. I've done 5 puzzles today. I did not expect to do that many, but I just wanted to enjoy it in the last section when I put all the pieces in where they're supposed to go, and I just wanted to have more time tomorrow to do that. That's why I decided to push 1 more puzzle today, because otherwise I wanted to do 4 today and 3 tomorrow. But it's really interesting because I'm not speed puzzling it and I feel completely fine. Like, I think if I speed puzzled 5 puzzles back to back, I would be in a lot more pain right now, and I'm actually not in any pain. So this is really good. I think it just goes to show that when you're trying to be fast, like, you tense a lot more, and obviously you bend over a lot more because you're trying to be as quick as possible. But because I was just leisurely puzzling, I'm feeling completely fine, so that's good. So 2 more puzzles tomorrow and then trying to find all the missing pieces on all 7 puzzles. I cannot believe how much easier, well, I can believe how much easier it is to puzzle during the day. And this puzzle actually turned out to be a lot more enjoyable than I expected, because I saw quite a few pieces in other puzzles and I knew from the get-go that there's gonna be a lot missing. But there were actually a lot more pieces than I anticipated, which made the puzzling experience a lot more enjoyable. I do have to say that it was quite surprising how many sky pieces I had left over though, because I really thought that I've done that better. Puzzle number 6 out of 7 is done, so I've only have 1 more to go, and this one actually has the most pieces, so I have no idea how well this one is going to be sorted, because I already know that some pieces I have seen before. That's going to be quite interesting to see what I got wrong, because when I'm doing the puzzle immediately, I'm like, oh my god, you go to this puzzle and this one goes to that puzzle, and I'm just like, how did I miss so many obvious pieces, you know? But because I wasn't referring to the image and I was just doing a quick sorting, you can really see the difference when you actually start puzzling with how much more detail you recognize. Even the sky pieces, I could have sorted now what goes to the lighthouse at sunset and then what goes to the Paris evening, because is the texture, it's already different, you know? So I think this just proves what I said. I think the first time when I did the 3K puzzle and then with any other giant puzzles that I've done, it's not that important to do really detailed sorting straight from the beginning and to actually start puzzling puzzling, because then you're gonna learn the textures and everything. And I think for this puzzling experience, because I thought it's gonna be easier to just separate it by puzzles, I actually think when it comes to sky, it would be better to just put all sky pieces in the same box, and then when I do the puzzle, just collect the ones that I need. Because I did complicate my life a little bit more because I didn't do that. But I still think it's like a different and maybe more fun way of doing things. So I'm happy that I did it the way I did, but I would not ever attempt to do that with 1,000-piece puzzles, because it would just be too much. I mean, unless they were like specific single color puzzles that I would mix together and then I would immediately know what goes together. But then in that sense, it kind of loses the point as well, because you already, like, if you do the sorting too well, or if the sorting is too easy, then it's not even the point of combining the puzzles. So I think this was good because it was like an added challenge. So I'm really looking forward to doing the last one. And then I'm gonna fill them in, finish the puzzles from the one that's got the least pieces missing to the one that's got the most, because that's gonna make it a little bit easier, because the puzzle with the most missing pieces is gonna only have the pieces from that puzzle left. And then it's good because I'm gonna be able to sell or exchange the puzzles as well. So my collection is too big, just slide that in. So yeah, I was kind of looking forward to finishing this challenge so I can get rid of those puzzles as well. Now, time to move on to the last puzzle. This puzzle out of them all had the most pieces when doing the sorting, that's why it was last to be assembled. And in all honesty, I've seen quite a few pieces in other puzzles when I was doing it, so I was ready that there's going to be quite a few missing. But I was surprised that there was less than I expected, which is the opposite than with the other puzzle. So the assembly, I want to say, was quite easy, but I cannot say that because those window displays are just horrible. And even now, after doing the puzzle, even though the Glorious Garden Center might have appeared more difficult, when not knowing if all of the pieces that you have are there, it's a lot more difficult to puzzle this puzzle than the garden center, because with the other one at least you have some colors, which wasn't the case with this one. Okay, so the last puzzle is complete and I have counted how many pieces I have left in each of the puzzles. So I've got 25 pieces left in this puzzle and in the Star Wars one, which is basically the least amount of pieces that I've got left. Then it goes a bit further up. I think with the Glorious Garden Center I've got 28 pieces left, and then it jumps up quite a bit. With the Paris in Evening one, I stopped counting when I got to 100, so there's quite a few pieces left in that puzzle. So what I want to do now is go through all the boxes, because I kept the pieces the way that I sorted them. So each in the boxes. Because I'm kind of curious to see, what I mix with something. So obviously the pieces shouldn't be in this box because we've just done that one. So I'm just gonna go through all the boxes and fill the puzzles in one by one until we get to the last one, which is gonna be, oh my god, basically almost the entire puzzle still left to do. And now the fun part begins. I always find it the most enjoyable to put the last pieces in when you kind of almost already know the shape of the piece and all you have to do is just find it and put it in. But I have to say that some pieces I just could not find for the life of me. And there were points when I thought that I'm actually missing pieces and that I lost pieces as well, because I dropped quite a few pieces today. The jumper I wore when I was puzzling was not a great one because the sleeves were too loose. So I dropped quite a few pieces and I thought that they're all lost somewhere. And another thing that I found quite surprising is how many times I had to go through the boxes with pieces to find the right ones. Even though, like I said, I knew the shape and I knew the picture that had to appear on the piece, but for some reason I just couldn't find it. So with some puzzles I decided to move on before I actually finished them because it was just impossible for me to find the right piece at that time. But crisis averted, I managed to find the last piece on the floor, so all the puzzles are complete. Well, what can I say? This was something. I had never, ever, ever in my life done anything like it before. And yeah, it was different. honestly, it was very different, and I'm happy. I know I've already mentioned it, but I'm really happy that I've done the puzzles before, because otherwise I think this would be so much more difficult. But here we go. We've got 7 empty boxes. All the puzzles assembled here. Do I dare to lift it up? Oh my god, because if it crumbles now, I'm not gonna go back to redo them. So yeah, all the puzzles here, all 7 of them, as a thank you for 7,000 subscribers. So I want to use this opportunity to thank you again for supporting me, every single one of you, because you have no idea how much it means to me. But we are going towards the 8,000 subscribers milestone, so there's gonna have to be another challenge video, because I will not have an 8,000 piece puzzle for that one. So I was thinking, maybe an 8-hour marathon, and you know, I would just have a few puzzles on the list and I would just puzzle for 8 hours straight. This is the idea that I had. I would still make it into a video, it wouldn't be a live stream, because that would just be a little bit too much, because 8 hours of talking, you know, even when I live stream for 2 hours, my throat goes so, not so, but like dry. So yeah, I wouldn't do a live stream, but I would make it into a video. Like an actual marathon, I would have puzzles in an order and then I would just keep doing that. It would also be a good opportunity to clear some of my stuff that I wasn't planning to make into a video. So, you know, I can reduce my pile, because ever since I came back from the Worlds, my wardrobe is cramped again. I stopped respecting my designated space for the puzzles, so I have them on top of the wardrobe. But I said as soon as I finish those 7, I'm gonna start selling them. So yeah, sorry, completely derailed. Anyway, if you've got any other suggestions of what to do for 8,000 subscriber milestone, please write them in the comments down below, because any idea is very welcome. So since this video is made for 7,000 subscribers, I'm gonna teach you how to say 7. You already know how to say 1,000, so you technically will know how to say 7,000 after. So how we say 7, sedam. So you already know 1,000, which is 1000, so you can say 7,000. Sedam. Sedam. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give me your ideas for the 8K subscribers milestone video in the comments down below. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really helps my channel grow, not me. And thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you next time. Bye!